Yeah.
Cheers!
Let's not do that.
What's up, everybody? Large Podcast Bad 38th episode. And this episode, we're doing Fun Friday with Kess. Kess is joining
Who's
us.
that?
What's up, Kess? How you
Hey,
doing?
how we doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
Yes.
Paul, how you doing? My usual regular.
I'm on top of the world, Ma.
Awesome. And we've got the Canuck from the the Canuck podcast. What's up, fellas?
Fabulous. It's Fabulous Friday. Can't help it. Just
All
doing
right.
it.
So I know we talked about some stuff we wanted to talk about, but I found a video. This is the stuff like when you go to BW3s and you watch the Chive TV channel of just terrible videos. This is Democratic Congressman Hank Johnson. He's doing a cover song of Hey Joe. He doesn't know how
No.
to tune a guitar.
No.
Dude, it's awful. You got to check it out.
I'm compelled with a new guitar and with some thoughts about that old song, Hey Joe, to give some commentary on where we are now. Hey, Trump, where you going with that gun in your hand? Hey, Trump,
My God.
where you going with that
Does
gun
he
in
know
your
you can
hand?
buy a guitar tuner for $15? Hey kid, so what? I'm trying to look at this guitar. What the hell is it? He's
I'm
playing? Is that a
going down the street to shoot
Stratocaster?
down democracy.
That he's just totally murdering. A
You know I want to be a
Stratocaster?
king someday.
It's a squire.
Ah, it's a Squire, that's right. And he's got his little Squire amp in the background.
I couldn't
I'm
tell
going
if
down
it
and
was
shoot
Sylvester
democracy
or
down.
Oh, he's gonna shoot democracy down.
Yeah.
Because he
You know I
wants
want
to
to be the
one
king
day.
someday.
Alright, I can't take anymore. Let's get.
Wow.
Can we?
Yeah,
Can we?
thank you.
Can we at least have a conversation about where they're going with this no kings shit?
Well, I would like to have that conversation, but I don't know how it's going to work because I'm in California. I already have a king, King Newscomb.
That
It's true.
Uh,
It's a good point.
guy can't. He can't tune a guitar either, or tune a fish.
That guy. I don't know. There's a whole nother thing we could do about what Newscomb's doing right now. But I can tell you that SCIU, the union for the state workers, one of the big guys in California, is suing Gavin Newsom. He had said, we're not going to give anybody raises, and he took it to the legislature, and the legislature said, yeah, we're not going to pass that budget. You got to start over. They're not getting raises. And this is after he's telling everybody to go back to work. Now, depending on where you are when you have to go back to work, which happens July 1st, by the way, parking rates in the capital city of Sacramento, all of those rates are going up. So if you're down there, you're going to have to pay money to drive because you were staying home. You're going to have to pay money to drive. Now you're going to have to pay money to park. And just so you get the idea, it's like $350 a month to park downtown, and those rates are going up. So these people are not only not, he's saying that they're not going to get a raise, but they're going to have to pay more for parking. These people are probably, at this point, it's cheaper to go on unemployment or welfare than to work for the government in California. They're saying, oh yeah, you can go ahead, stay home, and now you're going to lose money because we're going to take money back. We're not only not going to give you a raise, we're going to take money back, and then we're going to make you pay for extra parking. So $400 or $500 a month just to park so you can work. But that's in a whole nother subject. Sorry, I didn't mean to get started.
No, they can ride a bike to work using those green
Well,
bike lanes.
you say that, but that's ultimately what they want,
I
Edward.
know.
Because listen, I spent 8 years in public transportation on the government side. This is not the transportation. When you guys think of transportation, this isn't Uber or robo-taxi. Ultimately, yeah, they want you to ride a bike to the bus station, but you live 20 miles away from the closest bus station because you live out of town. So
That's
now
where
what do
all
you do?
yeah, that's what everybody is. So I figured it out. In order for me to make it to work 15 minutes late, I was going to have to leave for work 4.5 hours early.
Holy smokes!
And that was the earliest I could get to work because the buses didn't run before that. So to walk my happy little butt down about 1.5 miles, wait for a bus, and this isn't missing a bus, and start taking transportation, I was going to have to 4.5 hours to get 15 minutes late to work. So
Wow, dude.
the public transportation in the big cities, like maybe if you're in New York and you're working there, or you're in San Francisco,
DC.
yeah, DC, it's a lot different. When you're in a suburb and when you're in a place like California, we literally will drive 150 miles, 200 miles to work, depending on where you are. It's not uncommon. So people drive 300 miles a day. I knew somebody who drove 300 miles a day to get to work and back. That was it. Just that.
Yeah.
So the public transportation is just not going to work. And even if you do get public transportation, you're going to be riding the bus with all the hobos. No, I said hobos, not the other one. You're going to be riding the bus with all the hobos, all the bums, all the people that talk to themselves, the people that haven't showered, the people that are taking dumps on the bus, like on the light rail system. And they have police that come by and get these people, but it's not a pretty sight. I've gotten on the bus system before, and I'm like, what am I doing here? I mean, why would I put my kids or my wife or my grandkids on there? It's scary. It's really scary. But
Wow, that's amazing, dude.
yeah, I didn't mean to get us sidetracked already. We haven't even talked about hooky bobbing or nothing.
Oh, I just might bring that into public transportation. I think. I think it would. It's fun.
Look, it sounds as bad. It sounds like you need a Henry repeating rifle.
Yeah, that'll take care of
You're
business.
right. I guess one more thing on the subject is in cold weather states, people will figure out how to get a bus ticket and stay on them from 6 a.m. until midnight because the
Oh
bus
yeah.
is heated. And then they go try to sleep, like shack back up in their tent for 6 hours
Yep.
until they can get back on the bus. And you're right, there's no facilities on the bus, so they use the facilities right there. We literally have had people come in who were OD'd. They would pull the bus back into the barn. We'd have to have a coroner come in and remove the person and then
No
completely
way.
sanitize the bus. And it didn't it's not uncommon. It's not uncommon for buses to pull back into a barn and somebody's deceased because they were using or overused, died on the bus. It's
Wow.
the
Wow.
whole design of the whole system, which was just it's made with the design to get rid of cars, right, and to tell you when you can go and where you can go.
Yeah.
Uh, but what ends up happening is everybody does whatever they can to keep a job good enough to have at least a car so they don't have to deal with what's actually riding the system.
Wow.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine growing up taking public transportation. That would just, I don't know. That would be, that'd be pure hell. That would not be, I wouldn't do it.
Dude, I worked there.
No.
It was free for me, but they didn't come out to my county. So I drove to work. I literally drove in past the buses and parked in the front of the building. I couldn't imagine if the news was standing out there going, why didn't you ride the bus in? And me having to be honest and say, because there isn't a bus stop for 10 miles from my house. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
What do you want? And there's no park and ride. At least there wasn't for me. There
Well,
was other places.
in California, we don't call that the park and ride. We call that the park, go to work, and then come back with all your windows broken, maybe a turd in your back seat, and everything gone.
Yeah, and 2 tickets to the Cher concert are added to your front seat.
Yeah, or the Raiders when they were in town. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So we were talking last night, right? You've got a lot of wildlife. I've mentioned we got bears here in our southern counties. We have gators. Paul has war pigs or war hogs, um, literally,
Alligators.
and we were trying to get into like the level of safety we felt versus a black bear, or versus a gator, or versus a war hog. Paul, which one would you feel more comfortable with?
I feel the most comfortable with a gator because they're pretty easy to manipulate. They're scared of you as much as you're scared of them.
Yeah, they don't want anything to do with you.
But I gotta tell you, a Texas hog, he'll charge right at you. He don't give a shit. He will charge right at your ass.
He's gonna horn you. He's gonna bite
Yeah,
you. He's gonna trample you.
yeah.
The worst part is you can shoot one of those pigs, and they don't stop. They will still keep coming at you. It's like if you got to shoot them a couple times, where they
Yep.
say, I remember my first time going out because they're not just it's not just food and it's not just for sport because they will tear up other
No,
animals
that's right. Yeah.
and they will tear up your cattle, they will tear up your sheep, and they will tear up your home. They will tear up anything.
Mm.
And so when you go looking for them, and it's not easy to find these guys. So a lot of times when you're going, it's like at dusk or at dark, and they're scary. Bears will circle back around on you. So you've always got to watch behind you when you're with the bear. And bears are quiet. But the very first, I remember when I first went on my first pig hunt, they said, "Don't panic, and when you panic, remain calm when you panic."
That's the main thing, Kess. Don't panic, dude. You shoot one right between the eyes with a 30-30, and he keeps coming at you. You've got to stand your ground, lock and load, and hit him again. Because if you run, he's going to mess up your junk.
You got them in California as well.
No, not so much in California. I haven't just been in California. I've traveled around a little bit.
Oh,
Um,
gotcha.
but they do have hogs. I think they have some in California, but they're not the aggressive ones like we have. But basically, anywhere that there is anything, you will find feral pigs. You can find a feral pig just about any place in any state.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, for sure. And look, if you just drive out of GTA a little bit, Edward, you will run into black bear.
Oh yeah.
Black bears are inquisitive. That's why you don't turn around on them, because then they're going to be like, "Ooh, he's not looking at me. I'm going to go just give him a sniff. I'm going to go check it." Just keep your eyes on them. Keep your presence big. If you
Uh,
need to yell at them, yell at them. Black bears are not grizzly bears. And they're over most of the north, all over Canada.
mm,
They're in the south too. They're just a buffer zone. It seems to be the Beltway, and I think that's because the swamp people
Yeah.
ate them all. Um,
they're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs. They're
they're
eating
eating the
the bears. They're
they're eating
eating
the bed.
oh my
Yes.
God. Yeah, the swamp people. Yikes.
I've,
Yeah, you
I've
know what? I'd rather have a brown bear than or a black bear, I guess, and these gators and warhogs any day. Then, unless it's a grizzly or a polar bear, then yeah, I don't want any of those for sure. Uh, but the other ones, yeah, I'll take them over them any days because, like you said, they're mostly just inquisitive. They're not out there to take you out. So yeah, I'd be happy with that.
All
But
right. All right. Listen, I don't have a problem with gators. I I have no problem with gators. I would swim in lakes with gators. We talked about this last night, but I don't have a
Yeah.
problem with it. But I do like Florida's AG offering up to the feds an airport that is not currently used in the Everglades, that is surrounded by gators and surrounded by Burmese pythons. And he says that he could just put up a temporary camp, and we could hold 1,000 people here. And where are they going to go? I promise you, they're going to be too afraid to run away through the Everglades. I thought that was a great idea, Paul.
That's a great
Have you
idea.
have you seen this plan from the Florida
Yeah. Oh,
AG?
yeah. Oh, absolutely, dude. And it's out by what do they call it? Highway. There's that highway that goes from Miami on the East Coast straight across to the West Coast.
Oh yeah.
It's the 550 or something like that. But
Doesn't it go right through
oh
Sunrise,
yeah,
Florida? Or you talking about Alligator Alley? Are you talking about Alligator Alley?
Alligator Alley is what the nickname is. I forget the name
No.
of the highway, but
Yeah.
it is absolutely a target rich environment.
Well, and this defunct airbase doesn't have road access at all. It's fly in, fly out. So you're going 4 foot deep amongst the mangroves to try to escape it. And that's why I was like, this guy's
Fishing?
onto something, and he's calling it Alligator Alcatraz that he wants to offer up as a detention camp for illegals.
Hmm.
And he said, look, you could fly them in here, detain them, do everything you need to do,
Yep,
whatever holdups you got, and then we have a big enough runway, you can fly them out to their country of origin.
yep, no problem.
Excellent plan. Who came up with that one?
The
So
Florida AG,
is this like the Alcatraz thing, like where if they make it out off of the island successfully, then they're free to go because they already made
they're
it?
not going to make it.
Yeah.
Exactly right. Because they're not going to make it. And it won't be the alligators. It'll most likely be the pythons because there's pythons. They were imported through the pet trade. They're absolutely big enough to and have successfully eaten full-size men.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, those things eat a deer. No, yeah, of course.
Well,
Not that you don't see that, but
have you ever seen those videos of a tiger fighting one?
no.
Jesus. It's like, wow, what a battle. If
What?
you're up at 3 a.m. and you turn on the Nature Channel and they've got animal fights, you're like all invested. You're like, man, what app on my phone do I bet on? I'm going to bet on this animal. I'm betting on the tiger because this tiger is going to mess this 30-foot python up.
I've
Oh
seen.
yeah, 'cause
I like the alligator versus jaguar, or the crocodile. That's a that thing
Right?
that jaguar jumped in the water and got this thing and dug it out.
Picked up a 600-pound alligator, just picks it up and starts walking it up a beach,
well,
right? And the
they are pretty
alligator's
good.
doing everything it can. It's like, we gotta listen. Do any of you guys have a contact? We gotta get a hold of FanDuel. We need to be able to bet on this shit
oh
Yeah,
yeah,
live, right? I got $10 on the Puma.
that would be exciting, wouldn't it? Oh my god.
Let them put odds on it. Let AI put odds on it. Play the video. There's got to be some sort of in fight bets. Like how many times will the
yeah,
alligator get dropped?
yeah,
I'm gonna go with 2. how
Yeah,
many
there's gotta
times?
be
How many
gotta be
times
something
does
to
the
do.
puma get bit? I'm gonna go with 3, and then I'm gonna get a parlay, and now I'm gonna be like my $10. If I win, I'm gonna get like $140.
I'm going to tell you right now. Always bet on the hippo.
Yeah, I've seen them. Wow.
Oh, I would never mess with a hippo. I don't know why people do.
Well, they look like people go, oh look, they're so sweet and innocent. They're cows. Yet hippos kill more people in Africa than like any other animal. Uh, I'll just stay away from hippos.
Yeah.
That's my thing.
Me too. Yeah.
Never bet against a hippo. Always bet on the hippo.
Those things
Well,
come
hey,
up.
listen, if you go to Africa on a safari, make sure you live stream it. I'll figure out the website. We'll set it up for live betting to see if you live.
So you want me to get a hippo and put a hippo with a jaguar? Is that
I
what you
just
want
want
me
you
to
to get
do?
between a hippo and an elephant that are both pissed at each other.
I'll get in there and film it. Yeah,
Yeah,
that sounds like
yeah,
a
you're
good
out
thing
there
for
with
me.
your gimbal and your phone, recording in between the hippo and the elephant. Ah, uh, uh, there's money to be made in this. This is content. Isn't this how Jackass started?
Or Steve Irwin, one or the other.
Well, speaking of jackass, there's videos out there of a full grown jackass donkey that has taken a mountain lion and just kicked his ass and killed him to death.
Mm.
Just absolutely killed him protecting the herd. And you go out here right around our ranches and stuff, every place that has a bunch of cows, they got this donkey out there just hanging out, grazing and stuff, but
So,
ain't no bobcat or mountain lion or anything going to get into that
yeah,
herd.
I'm aware that they're totally great defensive animals, but I see like so that you're talking about cattle, but well, I see sheep farmers and goat farmers typically have, and it's usually a mixed breed, just some giant dog that lives outside
Oh yeah,
among the flock, as
yep.
opposed to a donkey, because I think the donkey also likes to just play pranks and will pick the sheep up and throw them over the fence. Am I wrong?
And they're
No,
hard on
no,
food.
I've seen it. I think they got videos of people actually telling the donkey to put the whatever animal down.
Yeah, put the goat down, put the
Put the
sheep
goat
down.
down. Put the cat down. Yeah, they're not donkeys are they're okay, but they're kind of dicks.
They are dicks.
They
That's
like
why they're
that.
called a jackass.
Yeah. What do you call a female donkey?
Still a
Anyone?
jackass.
My ex-wife.
No.
Just teasing. Maybe.
So I went looking for videos. I couldn't find any good ones. We were trying to explain to Edward the phenomenon of when you get localized rain flooding, and everybody gets a rope and ties it up to the back of a pickup truck, and water skis or surfboards behind a pickup truck. Have you seen this, or are you aware of this?
I've
Uh,
never seen it, only from what you said. And Kess called it some weird name. I forget what he.
That's snow. That's different. This is different. I have a different sport because I'm in California, but I got different sports. But we used to do what we used to call hooky bobbing, and basically, if you're out on the road and you're traveling across town, this is in the snow after a fresh snow, and you need to get someplace. You grab behind the hold of and they don't even need to know you're going to hitch a ride because back in the day you used to hitch a ride. Kids don't do this anymore; it's not safe. But you grab onto the back of a truck and you just duck down low and you just slide
Okay.
on the ice, and the truck will just pull you literally 10 miles. And then when you get to where you're getting, you just let go, and the people will see you behind them, and they keep their distance because they don't want to run over a kid or stupid 20-year-old that might be doing this. And then you just stop, you get off, and you run off the road, and you got to your location. So
Perfect. Who needs Uber?
So we did that with rollerblades when there was no snow on the ground too. You just wait till there was a stoplight, sneak in behind a truck, grab the bumper, off you go. And you're right, the car behind the humans, the kids, would back off a little, but different time, absolutely different time. People just let you do it. They didn't care.
yeah, especially
Uh,
if you had like a big truck. And there's one guy, he had a Jeep that I used to get behind his Jeep just about every chance I could because he had these nice big padded bars that you could hold on to. on the outside of the Jeep. It was nice, and he kind of knew, like, if he knew where you'd get different people he would slow down and let people jump on, and he'd slow down when he'd get to certain places. He's just driving across town, and he's like, yeah, whatever, go ahead. You're going to do it anyway. Let me just make it easier on you.
Yeah.
So he was the first mass public transportation that people actually wanted to use,
So
right?
this
Not
was
the kind that nobody wants to use.
So this was actually so this is in California. We got some snow. It's up in the mountains. Nice little local community before it got too big for itself. And I remember they had their first trolley service, and I'm like, all right, it snowed. They got this trolley service. It starts over here, like public transportation. You got to make a couple stops, but I'm like, I don't have to hitchhike. I'm on Easy Street, and where my house was kind of on this hill that would kind of go down a little bit. I don't want to give too much away, but yeah, it's a nice little hill. And it's snow, and so the very first day that they were running, I go out there. I've got my backpack. I'm there. I'm ready to go. And then all of a sudden, here we go. Here comes the trolley. It sees me. It stops. Rolls right off of the road, right off the side of the road. So I go ahead and I look and I go back to hitchhiking. Never took the trolley. Never took the trolley while I was there. I just saw that was the first time, and I watched it slide off the road, and I went, "Nope, it's not for me."
So the trolley, was it a rubber-wheeled trolley? So it was technically a bus.
It was a bus. It was. They just called it. They made it
And
look like a trolley.
They make it
but was
look like a
bus.
trolley.
Yeah.
Isn't that ridiculous? Just ridiculous. If you're going to run a trolley service, go ahead and throw the rails in the road, because you can make them level with the road.
Snow country. Snow country.
Yeah, but you're still if you're going to rail, you've got the weight.
Okay, so
You're going to be fine to
Well,
push
they got
right
them in
through it.
Toronto. Toronto, they run those all the time.
Yep.
Yeah. Of course, they're electric. They're not fueled. They're just electric.
So the roads, these are mountain roads, and the roads are so bad up there. They were really so bad that because everybody with chains would ride in the same spot, and in the wintertime, that was fine. And in the summertime, you rode on the other side. So you had these two grooves that would go like this. So that's where you went in the wintertime. In the summertime, you moved over to the high spots so it wouldn't bounce all over.
Gotcha.
This is
Yeah.
California. We have the highest gas taxes. We're not trying to fix roads or nothing. Come on.
Holy crap! They go up another 75 cents on July 1st.
62. I think it's 62.
62.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
What
don't
is
remember.
it?
Indiana does the same thing. It's a progressive gas tax where every year it goes up no matter what.
Yeah, because of King Newsom.
Well, ours was King Holcomb in Indiana. And yeah, he's like, hell yeah, we totally need to do this. We're going to raise it like 48 cents every year.
You do
So
realize that part of the gas tax is for fixing roads. Why they don't
They
use that?
don't go ask for their budget. They don't use it for roads.
I
They
know.
use it
That's
for
what,
whatever
that's how it all.
projects.
I know, but it was started. That's how the tax started. Is to fix and repair the roads. So they added the tax to the gas because you're driving on the roads, you're smashing and pounding them all to hell. So you're going to pay through the gasoline tax to fix them. They just never have any money in that account when it comes time to repair. Well, not even a stop sign. They couldn't replace a sign, let alone repave a road. These guys they're crooks. But yeah, don't get me going on politics today. We'll be here all night.
that's okay. I don't want to get you going on politics, but if you don't want to pay the gas tax, you can always buy an EV. You can buy an electric vehicle. Oh, wait a minute. No, starting next year, they're going to start charging per mile for your car that you didn't pay. So all these people that are like, I don't have to pay gas tax. You guys have to pay. Oh, I got to pay how much per mile? I think it's going to be something ridiculous, like 30 cents a mile they're wanting them to pay.
Oh.
And then they're just going to hike up the license plate fees for electric cars anyway. It's going to be $1,000 a year for just to get a license plate for one. So
It's almost that now for a
It's
regular
already
car.
it's already close to that
wow,
It's
every
So-
year.
So
Yikes.
I got a car. I got a 16-year-old car.
Yeah.
15-year-old car. And I'm paying $270 for my registration.
Right.
That's pretty much the same as what I pay. No, ours is free here now. Trucks have to pay, but cars don't. Like
It's not a truck. It's just a yeah. But no, you got to pay. Oh no, and if it's just a car, like a new car, you got to pay more. So even if you got a big truck, but it's a 1970, you know, 2-ton Ford, that can tow just about anything, or a Chevy or a Dodge, you're going to pay, but you're not going to pay as much as that little Daihatsu that you just bought because it's brand new.
I know.
You're paying $400 or $500. I saw
Yeah,
somebody pay $700 for registration.
makes no
Which
sense.
isn't it funny that so the newest, most eco-friendly cars they charge the most too.
Mhm.
It's just totally ass backwards. They're basically telling you, don't buy a car, don't ever buy a car, start walking.
They don't
Yeah.
want you to buy a car anymore. That's the
And
whole point.
if you guys start riding bicycles, we're gonna put a wheel tax on that.
So in Sacramento, okay, sorry, you got me going again. But in
No, let's
Sacramento,
go. Let's
we have
go.
they got a bunch of one-way streets, and the traffic are 3 lanes. So this is also what they did under COVID, when COVID was going on, when they didn't have anybody down there. So they tore up um, the road. So instead of being a 3-lane road, it's now a 2-lane road with a dedicated bicycle lane
Oh
and
yeah.
a parking lane. So they did the thing where you got 2 lanes, and then they put in a parking lane and then a bike lane in between. So there's literally no room for anybody to go in when it's wet and raining and nobody's on their bike, except for those two liberals that are out there. The roads are backed up like crazy, and so instead of having 3 lanes of traffic when traffic was bad, so they go, oh, that's okay. Everybody's working from home, but now they're not working from home. Now they're going to have to go back to the office, and yeah,
Of
not
course,
getting not getting a raise, and the parking's going up. Why is the parking going up? Well, Edward, they got to pay for that new soccer arena down over at the other part. Keep in mind, and they're going to have to pay for all of these new buildings because COVID happened. Everybody started working at home. They said, "This is great. We got all these old buildings. Tear them down, pull them down. That's real estate. We don't need anymore." They don't have that anymore, so now they're going to have to go out and build new buildings or buy or rent new stuff.
oh yeah, no. You know what? I think Southern Ontario and California are exactly the same as far as libtard policies, and it's frightful. The whole thing. We got to get rid of these United Nations policy ideals and their big ideas. You know what? Don't do me any favors. How about just get lost? We'll defend and take care of ourselves and just stay out of it. But I don't want to turn this into a political thing, Sean. But I just couldn't help myself.
I think it's inevitable if the three or four of us get together that we're going to talk
Yeah,
about
it just drifted that way.
Well, with everything going on, it's really hard not to, because you sit there, and we just had No King's Day, right? And by the way, why would a king let you protest against him? And they're like, it's the biggest protest in world history. And I go, have you heard of the Million Man March? That actually meant something, but
Yeah,
that's okay.
yeah.
But we look at it, and it's like, oh, these people went out and protest, and they don't even know what they were protesting for. They were protesting because Trump had a parade for his birthday. What? What?
Nope.
No, that parade, by the way, for those of you that don't know, HR 4875, I believe that's it. I can actually find out. I believe it was 4875, was signed by Barack Obama July 22nd, 2016, to have this parade. And there's a nice little letter that he wrote to go with it, saying that, this is the subsequentennial, I can't say that word.
Nailed it. You got
Um,
it.
so
250.
so there's this celebration we're going to have, and by the way, there's 5 more celebrations coming too. One for the Navy, one for I can't remember what all they're coming for.
I
But
still
there's
excellent idea. Love that. Love watching it too. By the way, it was just a wonderful show. They
yeah.
should
But
do.
by the way, it's Trump's fault because Trump decided to be born on the 250th anniversary of the United States Army when he knew he was going to run for president.
Yeah,
I know that's what
I
happened.
know, right? And oh my gosh, that's the libtards again with these stupid, ideas or thoughts. They don't really think anything. They just
Dude,
beat off and
Edward, you got it in your country too. But it's just,
worse here, I think.
It's wow, look at California. You've got every 2 hours either, or they're both doing it, but I think they're in a rotation. So every hour you got Mayor Bass or Gavin Newsom claiming that all the violence is because of Donald Trump trying to be a king. They're still on this he's a king thing. And
I
you
That
just look at it and you're like, this is the most retarded thing I've ever heard. And I'm saddened because some people who watch KTLA or some other channel around that area are going to actually believe what Newsom is saying. Uh, and they shouldn't. They should have eyes and ears and thoughts of their own, and they don't.
no. I mean, so Mayor Bass, for those that you don't know, is the mayor of Los Angeles. And this lady gets on TV and says, "Oh, all of the violence and everything, and we don't need this, and we're gonna all this. It's all because of Trump, and we can handle it ourselves. We don't need any help. By the way, if you guys want to come out because we're gonna have the World Cup here, we need all of this graffiti cleaned
ah,
up, and we
I
can't
heard
afford to
that.
do it. So we
Yeah,
want you guys to come down and volunteer. All of you business owners, we want you to come down. I know your stuff just got taken out and you didn't have any business for a week at the very best. Maybe you got burnt down, maybe you got graffiti, but we want you to come out and volunteer and put up money to help clean up the city so it looks good for the World Cup." I cannot make this shit up.
yeah. You know what? She reminds me of that mayor from Chicago, Lightfoot, Lori Lightfoot, I think her name was. Remember her? She reminds me so much of her and all her just dumb. She's just dumb. Just oh, and that's no slight against women, but some of them just are voted in because they are women. But please, just sit down already and just stay shut up because you just sound so ridiculous. Can I just say stupid? Can I just say plain old stupid? Can I
So
say
so
because
Edward, I want you to do yourself a favor. Karen Bass, I want you to look up what she was doing in the 60s and 70s. Do it on your own time. It'll be a fun read, trust me.
give me a hint first before going on as well. Just give me one hint to make it interesting, worth my while. Is she
Um,
a leader
there
of
were
a communist party?
some
Huh?
building explosions. Oh, she also worked with Fidel Castro.
Yes.
Yeah, well, that just yeah, I can see why she's in office, and Gavin Newsom there and her should be good friends, the best of friends. Now that you said that, oh my gosh, yeah. But anyways, here we are rolling into the politics, Sean.
Totally fine. Let's keep
Yeah,
it up.
I'm
Man, hopefully I didn't. Let
what
me bring this up. Let's see if it's a new account.
what?
Somebody was trying to come. Oh, somebody's trying to come in. I booted them because I didn't recognize them. I'm trying to bring them up now to see if it's because I've got the podcast locked down. I don't see.
I see somebody.
All right.
Hey,
Oh,
Paul.
all right. We got Paul, but there was somebody else that, and I was like, I don't know how they got in. We got Paul back though. That's all that matters. I'll
That's all
explain
that
all.
matters. The other guy
I'll
wasn't worth some shit.
I'll explain the technicalities of it
That
later,
was me.
because I know you're super interested in all the buttons I have to push to run this thing and to
Uh,
make it all work. You guys are just, yeah,
I
right.
know you're that guy behind the curtain, that Oz guy. Yeah.
Producer Sean,
Yeah.
producer Sean, who still has to talk. You know what? Producers like on radio and TV, they just get to sit back and hit buttons. Not me.
No.
All right. I'm gonna keep digging. We're on politics, and we're gonna just do it, even though it's fun.
You know,
Because listen,
I only
Edward,
brought that up.
you gotta understand what these douchebags in L.A. County and the surrounding counties, the propaganda they're getting fed on like KTLA, or on the radio stations out there is that this is all Trump's fault. None of this violence would happen if Trump hadn't brought in his stormtroopers, and that's what they're saying to the public.
So let me give you real time what happened because I got to see a lot of it very close up. Um, so this actually started on Wednesday in San Diego, before we had the Friday night riots. So this started early. They shut down the I-5, and I don't know if you guys know the I-5. I know I probably went over this a little bit, but the I-5, we're just going to do it quick. is a major artery. It goes all the way from Mexico all the way up through the top of Washington. It goes all the way down the coast.
Okay.
So that's a major artery, and you've got the 101. So they were shutting down the 5. And that happened on Wednesday and Thursday, and then they moved up, and we had ICE pulling out people from businesses that were were funneling money, laundering money. The people that were working for them, they weren't just like Mexican people. There was a guy that was in there, an Indian guy that had like two or four murder convictions from his country, and came over here, and we're trying to get him out of here. So we had people, and this money that they were laundering was for the cartels. So this is bad businesses. There were 3 businesses that were got. They got 44 people, and everybody keeps talking about all the Mexicans that they're rounding up, because only Mexicans are the ones we're rounding up, but not the 12 other people that were high crime people. And all of the people all the businesses that they busted were doing bad things, and these people were actually brought over, supposedly. I don't know this, and to work with these businesses to do what they were doing. So this isn't like they were going out into the fields like everybody showed. They had one guy go out into the field and running from ICE, and that's the one that they went with. But these guys were being backed up. It looked like a video game. They were pepper balling to get out. There were three vans, 3 vehicles. One got separated, and that's where this whole thing started. Friday night was riots. Saturday day was riots, and Saturday night is when the National Guard showed up. They didn't really do much except get there, and it wasn't until Sunday that the police started making arrests. So on Thursday and Friday, they made 14 arrests total. And then on Sunday, they made 197 arrests or something like that. Why did they do that? Because they had the backup. These people that they're talking about were literally standing around the federal buildings. That's it. That's all they were doing. They didn't have guns. They had sticks and riot gear, and they were standing in front of there. But that gave the cops a place to have their back and somebody to watch them. And that was enough. And so when they're saying Trump did this, no, Trump literally gave these guys the edge, or LA would still be on fire today. And it would have done like it did last time, where it swept all the way up the coast. Trump just got ahead of it, and they're not going to give him any credit for it.
Does anyone remember ICE raids in the 80s and 90s? Because I do, and I worked at facilities that were they came in, they literally got on the roof, threw nets over all the bay doors, came in through the one door they had left open, and just started arresting people. This is nothing new. This isn't Donald Trump's America, which everyone's trying to say. This is something we used to do up until even Obama did it. He did it quietly. It was really Joe Biden that said, nope. And I don't believe, I want to quantify this with, I don't believe Joe Biden, for his entire presidency, knew what was going on whatsoever.
No.
So AutoPen authorized all of this illegal activity and the import of probably 20 million or more people that are all criminals. The countries were like, holy shit, I can empty my prison and point you that way.
Yeah.
That's where America is.
And they're paying for it. Yeah.
I've been detained by ICE. You see this? I've been detained by ICE because they came in where I was working. And for those of you that don't know, I work outside, and I work with a lot of different kinds of people. And when I would be working, I didn't carry a wallet, because you don't carry a wallet doing what I did.
Correct.
So I came down, and they said, we need your identification. And this is under Obama. This happened 3 times. There was only one time that I didn't happen to have my wallet on me, but they zip tied me with my hands behind my back. And they, because I didn't have my identification, and they had to wait and have somebody go back. They said, it's in my truck. And I had to go back. So they ended up walking me back out so I could get my identification. They ran my identification, and then I was allowed to stand in a different area. And this is outside. There weren't any nets. There wasn't anything fancy. And by the way, the people that got busted, they just, I won't be, tell so-and-so I got busted and I'm not going to be here. And it's like, oh, okay, I'll let your boss know, you know. And but they didn't try and run. They didn't try and do anything. They're like, here goes. And they knew what the odds were. They knew what happened. I talked to them, and they said, yeah, one day I said, what happens if you get in trouble? What happens if you get busted? And they said, well, I just might not be here. So Monday I might be hungover, or somebody might have come and taken me home. And there's been a couple of guys where that's happened. They come and they get taken away
Well,
and they go home.
the problem with like Clinton's policy and Bush's policy was they would deport them, and then they would be back in a week. So they still weren't
Mhm.
serious about patrolling the border. And I remember there was an ice raid that happened at a facility I was working at, which was making grinding wheels, but not the kind for your wood shop. We were making airline brake parts or airline grinding wheels, brakes. And when the raid came in, I remember asking, and these were all Mexican nationals. There was three white guys who could speak English, and they hired us specifically because we could read and write instructions in English to put all the chemical compounds together so that the Mexicans could press it, bake it, and put it into a mold, bake it, and then get it ready for shipping. And then
Yeah.
there was another English speaking guy, a white guy, American, on the outbound side that could schedule deliveries. And so I remember asking the foreman because we lost like 92% of our workforce. He goes, "Don't worry, you guys can keep coming to work. We'll have plenty for you to do. The rest of them will all be back in a week. We've seen this before happen." And the employer was like, "This is just totally normal. Don't worry about it, Sean. They'll be back." As opposed to Trump's policy of you screwed up, you came in illegally, you're banned for 10 years from coming back.
Yeah.
You know what's even more surprising? Some of these people that I've seen getting caught have been in America for like 30, 40 years, never bothered to, I don't know, register. They just I don't know what they were thinking, but they had it good, home free. All they had to do was just go somewhere, and I don't know where, and register, and you're in. Well, kind of, but anyways, no one did that. I just can't believe that
Well,
they just
during that time period too, it really was mostly Mexican migrants in
yeah,
the 90s.
gotcha. Yeah.
Whereas they opened the floodgates under Obama,
Oh God,
and
here
then when
too.
they
Oh,
found out, holy crap, what happened? How did Trump beat Hillary?
Right.
Once they got auto pen installed, they're like, "We this is our last chance. We're going to actually start paying to import them." And
Yep.
the evidence is
we did.
everywhere. I'm not telling you something that's false.
Nope, I agree.
So
Danger.
California went on the offensive under George W. Because we had an incident that had happened where we had somebody that was working for a company that would go into people's houses and repeatedly took advantage of uh, a mentally challenged person. And when that happened, that hit the news and it went everywhere. Well, that happened to affect what I was doing, and all of a sudden I had to show a badge for everything that I was doing. Rightfully so, because people are now nervous because it made the news. Well, when that happened, that was under George W. That hit everybody, and that didn't stop for a long time. They would commonly come through because people wanted that. People said that we need to do this, and every once in a while you would have cops um, that were killed in the line of duty by illegals, and there was a demand for this is in California to get rid of these people that are here. And it wasn't until this last presidency where they just made the turn, and I don't understand how they clicked it so quick, and they go, "Oh, they're just out to get all of these families and tear them apart." And
Huh.
that one crying kid that they always have in the background that's from a
Right.
Oh
movie,
yeah.
the one that's it's from a movie, and they always play the same thing, and they always play it, and it's like, oh, let's tug on the heartstrings, but nobody seems to remember that mentally challenged girl getting raped over and over. And then nobody remembers that. Nobody remembers the cop. Nobody remembers there's a gentleman, Singh, in Antioch, California. He was an immigrant. He came here with the sole purpose to be an American policeman. He wanted to be a policeman. That's what he wanted to do. He traveled to the United States. He became a citizen in the United States. He then went in and got in on the police department. He loved his job. And he was killed by an illegal immigrant.
Oh God.
How do you get upset? You have a legal immigrant, and they destroyed this other illegal immigrant destroyed him, his family, his pregnant wife's now without a child. But we don't care about that family. Only the ones that where they're getting free stuff, and everybody thinks that we should all do that. Only in 4 years, in 4.5 years, we've changed the entire country to go from what we should be to this extreme that we have now.
I like Tom Holman's answer for the broken family thing you were just talking about. And he'd say, "Yeah, no, they can all go together. They just don't. He doesn't have to go by himself. The whole family can go. Yeah, that's great news. Take the whole family out. Don't go. You don't have to separate. Everybody get out. That's just. That's just. I laughed when I heard that. That's just great news. That's great policy right there. Trump must have raised that. That's just too much common sense."
When people talk about the Trump and everything that he's done, I said, you guys give Trump too much credit. Listen
Maybe,
very
I don't know.
carefully. I like the Trump guy, but
Yeah.
I said, you give him too much credit. He's using Obama's policies. He's using Obama's people. Trump didn't do anything. He just came up and he's reusing it.
Well, why
Doge
do you
isn't
make a
even
thing?
his.
What's the
Doge
big
is
deal then?
Yeah, Doge is just a fancy name. He took that from was that Bush or Obama? But he took the Doge and
It
just
was Obama. It was
yeah,
Obama. So Elon tokened the name, but it's an Obama era thing.
yeah, all this stuff that he's doing, he's saying, well, this worked, and the reason he's doing it, he's really smart when he does it. He's saying this worked. There's already legislation. There's already rules for it. So I'm going to use the processes that are already in place. And Holman was Obama's. That's
Oh,
the
was
thing.
he? Oh,
Everybody that he's using is Obama's. Everybody is his. So he's just saying, hey, this worked from Obama. Let's use this. And all these people are like, Trump is this evil person. He's not even that smart, people. He's using Obama shit. That's it. That's the same stuff. That's it. And they have a hard time understanding it.
I
And when
think
it's
they understand it. I think they understand it perfectly well. I think they're just outright, lying, and making a mountain of a molehill. I think
Well,
that's exactly what they're doing. I think they know full well what's happened. If what you see is true, then yeah, absolutely.
well, Kess, I think like when we look back in history, say 10 or 20 years from now, and I'm making a statement here. I've made it before, but I believe President Trump is going to go down as the most effective Democrat president in the history of the country because he's putting forth all of the bitches and moans that the Democrats have cried about. He's saying, "Yeah, let's do it. Let's fix it." And they're not going to see it today. They're not going to see it in 5 years, 10 years, maybe 20 years for sure. So they go, "Oh my God, Donald Trump was the most effective Democrat president we've ever had."
Well, they finally got a Democrat government in office that everybody seemingly wanted, and then now they don't. I mean, everybody they
Which isn't that the funny thing? They've got by populism, they have all the Democrat people in place,
yeah.
and they're screaming and crying. There should be no kings, and we're all laughing, going, "Thank God there's no kings. Oh, it sucks for Canada."
We're trying to get rid of ours, by the way, Sean. We're trying to get rid of the whole thing. We need to get a Constitution Republic and get rid of this stupid Constitution of monarchy.
Dude, listen, I made that post. Like there was a
I
typo in
see
it.
it.
It's still whatever. It's still got out of the ether. But we got about 8 minutes left. Is Alberta making any more progress at succeeding
Yeah,
from the British government and applying
I think
for
it's going to
statehood,
go.
which by the way goes to territory first.
And you know what? That's fine. I don't think we really care at this point. Just want to get out from the oppressiveness of this libtard, democratic, communist government. I mean, their ideas are stupid. They're way too old. I mean, in their thinking and their approach to things, the stuff that we said, well, that'll never work 20 years ago. And here they are going right back around this big circle and trying to implement these same stupid ideas. And we all know socialism, well, what just ushers in communism is the sole job, doesn't work, won't work. When the money's gone, everything's gone. And I don't think people realize that. And right now, they're doing a good job of they just give that stupid Zelensky guy more money for Ukraine. Why? Just because Trump left early. He was in the sidelines, standing in the wings there, and all of a sudden, Trump's gone, and bam, it just almost takes over a seat. And, here we are giving, oh my God. It can't get more ridiculous than that. Just can't.
I just personally looking at Alberta. Family's long past, but I have family from Alberta. Most of them currently are GTA area, which is not in Alberta. But that's because of jobs, right? That's the big city. I would welcome and I would support. Alberta is it's a farming area. It's conservative. It's rural. It is North Montana, right? I'd be okay with that. Would I be okay with taking the entire country at this point? No, I wouldn't.
So many people said the same thing in America, and I can understand and see why. And yeah, being a territory with no voting rights would be an ideal situation till we get rid of this globalist United Nations thing. Once we get rid of United Nations, period, we'll all be a lot better off. And I think everybody should be focusing on that, but everybody seems to be ignoring the real problem, which is United Nations and their dumb policies that, even they were dictating to the states under Biden, and Obama took control of that because he took all the, by the way, he's part of the Muslim.
You give them a lot of credit. Paul, I got to ask you, has there been any recommendation from the United Nations that Trump hasn't vetoed?
No, I don't.
He's vetoed every single one.
Yeah,
both terms.
And that's good. And we should be doing the same thing. Everybody, be standalone. Be the West. We were the West at one time. Let's get back to being the West and continue ruling the world.
They have no power. Is what I'm saying.
Sorry,
no, well,
they have money. No, they have money and influence. They have no power.
But they don't have. This is not their This is not their fight.
This is what
NATO cannot do this because it's not their fight, dude.
It's not their fight, he said.
It is not their fight.
You talking NATO?
Do you see NATO going away after this?
NATO.
No.
So can I tell you something, Kess? I think as having served in the military and being a history major in college, I think NATO should have gone away when the
wall fell.
1989.
The wall fell. Yeah, there was no. What was the name of the Eastern?
Berlin.
Eastern Bloc. What did they call that? Crap.
Iron Curtain.
The Eastern Bloc. I don't know.
Yeah, the Eastern Bloc.
Eastern Bloc was
it was
east of the wall. Yes.
Yeah, it was the Eastern European part of version of NATO. Once we got rid of that, which was after the wall fell, there was no need for NATO.
Yeah,
and they should have got rid of it. And when Chris Stevenson in 1993 told Vladimir Putin definitively, we will not step one foot east of where we are now, and then immediately went to Poland and Romania and Bosnia and Serbia and all that kind of stuff.
Let me use Paul's expertise real quick too, because we've explained this before, and maybe this needs to be a whole podcast. Also, after the wall fell, we made that promise. Russia came to us and said, hey, look, we could actually be trade partners. We could be friends. We helped you in World War II.
Yep.
And time after time after probably 6 times now. Russia's helped us in the war on terror, war on this, war
Yep.
on that. And they said, hey, why don't we just team up? Wonder Twins unite a Russia state, United States, Russia, give us NATO membership. And the president of the United States goes, fuck you, Vlad. And
Because
they're
there's,
like, okay, fine.
there's
We'll
no
do it
money
on
in
our
friends.
own.
I
We'll do it
know.
on our own.
Yep, there's just no money in friends, and that's the whole reason why they have to give them the cold shoulder and shove them out. We need friends and good allies and a peaceful, but no, there's no money in it.
Listen, there's
Just
going to
don't
be
believe it.
something over the next week or two, and I think you're going to see Putin help make a deal. I'm being honest. I think
I
you're going
hope
to
you're
see
right.
Putin help make a deal, and it won't be through him. Trump will take all the credit. But I think he's going to put pressure on his Iranian friends, and he's very good friends with them. They're trade partners. But he's going to put some pressure on this to go, hey, listen, we're not going to be able to be trade partners if you keep being a frickin' retard.
Right.
Am I reading that bad, Paul?
No, you're reading it straight on, dude.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. We are at 1 hour and 14 seconds. I appreciate each and every one of you. I appreciate each and everyone in the audience. Kess, let me know when we can do another Fun Fridays with Kess. Even though it turned into politics, we love having you. Hey, also, I got to get Kess. I got to get a hold of Desi if we're gonna do every 2 weeks of the Maha space. I'll let you know. He seems down with it. All
Yeah,
right, fellas.
he's a smart dude. He's a smart dude. That's that'd be something to at least listen to.
Yeah.
All right. Closing this one out. We gotta go. We gotta go.
Got it.
Oh, yeah.